Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Hey, YouTube. How are you guys? How are you? How are you? I'm so excited to be here again. Like I say, you guys are always the first to come and the last to leave. YouTube is my first baby. My everything business related started with me wanting to share my insight, my input on YouTube. So, with that being said, YouTube, you're a part of my journey. You are. And all platforms are, all of them. Facebook audience is definitely a part of my journey. Instagram audience, they're a part of my journey. But my YouTube audience, that was the first idea that I had. Let me say that. So, with that being said, I'm excited to be here on YouTube. I'm excited to be able to be present. And with that being said, we're going to get started really, really soon. Of course, tonight's topic, as you guys see, is goal setting. Goal setting. Oh my gosh, goal setting. As I say, I love to be a demonstration of entrepreneurship. I love to share where I am now, where I started, and what my plans are for the future. And in that, truthfully speaking, goal setting has a lot to do with my process. Recalibrating my goals has a lot to do with my process. Being intentional about reverse engineering in goal setting, part of my process. Speaking of which, I want to make sure I include that in my notes simply because reverse engineering is a huge part of my process. And I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to forget to tell you guys absolutely anything. So I know I always say I won't be before you long, blah, blah, blah. All righty. Instagram is loading. Perfect. Oh, I'm live on Insta. Yay, yay, yay. Okay. YouTube, we're live. IG, we're live. The very last one is Facebook. Y'all know I gotta go in order. What's the saying? Of course, structure and discipline is key, right? So that's my order: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, for whatever reason. So with that, I have this phone. I forgot to put that a part of my topic, but it's okay. Yay. We all have bomb angles. So with that being said, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. All righty. Hello, hello, hello. I am Cornisha. If you are new to me, welcome. If you're not new, welcome on back. Okay. If you're new to me, welcome. If you're not new, welcome on back. I'm Cornisha. I'm a purpose and personal development coach. And primarily on a day-to-day basis, I coach women and men on how to monetize their gifts and talents and turn their dreams into their jobs. I was able to do it for myself. It's been nothing but a blessing. It's been nothing but prosperous. So with that, I want to share my process. I want to share gems that I learned throughout my process. And again, I want to teach men and women how to actually tap into what they want to do, how to actually make those dreams come alive, so to speak. And a lot of times in our core circles, we have folks around us who are like, nah, girl, stay in that job, or nah, Don't do that. I haven't seen success in that. How lucrative is that? So, with that being said, I want to kind of shift the narrative and I want to be an example and a demonstration that entrepreneurship, yes, it's a process, but it provides growth, success, of course, tangible success, internal growth, physical growth. So, with that being said, I just want to be a demonstration. Literally, I just want to be a demonstration. So, with that being said, tonight's topic is goal setting. I know for sure for a lot of folks, it's like, why? We know how to set goals. Well, if we were successful at setting our goals, then we all would be where we want to be, right? That's the truth. That's my truth. That's my truth. If I was successful at setting and executing the actions required to accomplish every single goal that I love to see myself accomplish, I'd be where I want to be. However, it's levels to it, it's processes to it. And with that being said, we're going to get into the topic. We're going to get into the topic. Like I always say, I'm not going to be before you guys long. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. So, goal setting. Why is goal setting a topic for tonight? Simply because there's a wave of complacency or outright struggle at actually accomplishing the goals that we set for ourselves. And for myself, I've heard references to this common problem a lot lately, whether it's in coaching clients, whether it's when I'm actually being a student and watching somebody's live, or whether I'm just speaking with family and friends. I constantly hear of the struggle of goal setting or accomplishing our goals, or the struggle that comes with even wanting different from where we are. So, with that, I wanted to bring some insight and some clarity to goal setting. I want to bring some strategy to goal setting, because anything without strategy, or what's the word, direction, like I always say, is doomed for destruction. And I don't want us to live lives that are inviting destruction. I want us to live prosperous lives, happy lives. I know I want it for myself, so I want it for anybody else that I know, anybody else connected to me, connected to my platform. So, goal setting, it's a thing. It's a thing, and it requires strategy. Typically, we just say the goal, and there's so much more to goal setting than that. So let's dissect goal setting. Let's dissect it. Let's start there. Goal setting should bring out the best in a person, allowing him or her to stretch. It should be sacrificial. It should be a sacrificial achievement that matures with time. What does that mean? To set a goal, primarily, you have to sacrifice. I wanted to be an entrepreneur so bad last year. However, things like sacrificing my TV time was unheard of last year. I wasn't sacrificing that. I wasn't doing that. Things like sacrificing my phone time, my social media time, that was not an option. I was going to do it. I was going to do it. So, with goal setting, a lot of times, in order to be effective in your action plan behind those goals, you have to actually sacrifice. You got to sacrifice some of the social time. You have to sacrifice some of your going out time. We have to sacrifice some of our miscellaneous time that really isn't used for accomplishing our goals. We have to sacrifice that. And that's why a lot of times people say, oh no, forget entrepreneurship. You need to stick to that job. Not necessarily. Just sacrifice to get out of there and you can make it. And again, I'm not here to convince anybody to quit their jobs, try entrepreneurship. I'm just here to be a demonstration, an example, and to share knowledge during my process. So, it allows a person to stretch. It does. It stretches your mind, goal setting. And a tip, no, I'm going to hold on to the tip. I'm going to hold on to it for now. So, It stretches your mind, it elevates you, it stretches your troubleshooting, your skills, your skill set as far as being able to identify a problem and identify the solution. That's troubleshooting. And it stretches that, it elevates that, it evolves that. So, with that being said, goal setting is beneficial in more ways than one. It doesn't only help you accomplish your goals, but it stretches your mind and it stretches your ability to be able to troubleshoot in whatever area of your life. So, it should be a sacrificial achievement that matures with time, effort, and service to others. Did we hear that? Time, effort, and service to others. Service to others, that part is really important, because in entrepreneurship, a lot of us can get caught up in the profits that we fail to realize. You have to serve, you have to give in order to receive. That's kind of that's law. Let's say that's law. You have to give in order to receive. So goal setting should consist of a sacrificial achievement, time, effort, and service to others. If you're not servicing others in one way or another, you're hindering your own growth. You're hindering your own growth. And that's why actually bringing strategy to goal setting will be beneficial to us, because it will prevent us from hindering our growth. It will. It will. It will. Goals that don't include service to others will eventually hinder, if not destroy, the person who set them. I just said that. That's so crazy. I just said that. Now, successful goal setting. Successful goal setting consists of four things. Four things. There's 4 steps to successfully setting a goal. First, you must record the goal. Record the goal. Write it down. Like they say, write it down, make it plain. Record that goal. Don't just let it linger in your mind, because our minds, our emotions, our anything correlated to our minds. Do you see how fast society moves nowadays? I live in a busy city, and the worst part that I hate is the traffic, simply because it's like, it's too much. It's too much for me. So with that being said, write it down, make it plain, so that it's not lingering in our mind and it doesn't flow through our process as a temporary thought. We don't want our goals to be a temporary thought. Record them, write them down, actually commit your thoughts to writing. Writing them leads to commitment. It begins to open you to new ideas. Like I say, it stretches your mind. It stretches your growth. It stretches your leadership abilities. When I was in corporate America, we'd delegate certain tasks to one another, and in delegating a task, you have to make it sound exciting to the person who has to do the work. So with that being said, we'll say, oh, I have a stretch assignment for you. And a lot of times, that whatever goal that we were setting that we needed the other person to accomplish, even though it was us delegating in our leadership roles, it truthfully was us delegating the aspect that they have to stretch their minds. We're delegating the opportunity for them to stretch their minds. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. Recording your goals, writing them down, making them plain, it stretches you, it evolves you, it elevates you, and it provides, like I said last night, it activates that creativity. It does. It's like the light switch. That's like, hey, there's some creativity behind there. There's some creativity behind all the mess that's distracting you. So I'm going to give you this task. And as you figure it out, you're going to stretch, you're going to grow, you're going to evolve. That's it. So successful goal setting consists of, number 1, record your goal. Number 2, give your goal a deadline. Don't just set a goal. I want to become a millionaire. I want to become a millionaire. How? When? Where? By when? You have to not only set the goal, but give it a deadline. Give it a deadline. That way it activates execution. Because I know I have a time frame. I have no time to waste. Goal setting. Goal setting helps you weed out the distractions. That's another tool we can use. Last night's topic was, what was it? Distraction versus discipline. Distraction versus discipline was last night's topic. And literally, goal setting will help you weed out distraction. So, with that being said, give your goals a deadline, set a time frame for achieving your objective. Being deadline motivated will help you focus, and it will help you, again, avoid distractions. It's in my notes. I'm going ahead of my notes, literally, but it will. Deadlines will help you get started, and it will help you continue moving on the process. A deadline. A lot of times we'll say, I want to try entrepreneurship. So we'll start with figuring out what's the process. How do we start? What do we do next? We'll start there. However, a distraction comes, and because we didn't set a deadline for that, we're now in a whirlwind full of mess simply because we didn't set a deadline to keep us on track for our goal. Instead, we made room for the distraction to do exactly what it was set to do, distract us. That's why it's important for us to actually set goals and give them a deadline. Do yourself that favor, and you will see the return on your investment, because your goals are no longer going to be goals. They'll become achievements. They will become achievements. It's just up to us to start by setting the goals properly. Back to goal setting. Record them, give them a deadline, set your standards high. Set your standards high. When it comes to goal setting, it's like anything related to your life. Nobody can dictate it. Nobody can diminish it. So with that being said, set your goals high. If you want to start a business and start it in one state and take it to another state, let that be your goal. Nobody can stop that. And in the event that you actually speak it, give it a deadline, set those standards high without diminishing them, and execute effort, you're making room for the things that you want. But it starts with having strategic goals, having solid goals, not just letting our thoughts linger, not actually giving them direction, and not actually giving them the proper setup as being a goal. Because what does a goal need? You have to record them, you have to give them a deadline, and you have to set your standards high. Number four in successful goal setting, begin with the first step. Begin with the first step. I always use myself or entrepreneurship as an example, simply because I don't ever want it to seem like I'm picking on somebody. So with that being said, I know for sure for myself, a year ago today, I thought I would be in the hair industry. So with that being said, the very first step for myself, I'm thinking I need to find a hair vendor. No, that's not first step. That's not first step. So with that being said, begin with step one. If you don't know step one, do the research. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're slow. It doesn't mean that you're not there. You're not where you're supposed to be. No, everybody has to start somewhere. And all of us have areas of opportunity. So with that being said, there's nothing wrong with having to do the work to figure out where to start. But please know that once you do that work, you're not only elevating yourself, you're providing yourself another stream of income, because now that's something you can teach. Just saying. When it comes to entrepreneurship, there's no rhyme or reason to this. Don't cut yourself short on anything, because that thing that you're avoiding could be your next stream of income. It could. And there's nobody who can change that but you. So with that being said, begin with the first step. It's essential to plan your full process, or as much of it as you can. You won't always be prepared or expect the obstacles that are soon to come. You will not always be prepared in entrepreneurship. There are going to be days where you feel like you're walking blindly. It will, but it takes for you to endure those days to say, you know what? I'm taking 4 days off so I can play catch up. And in playing catch up, that's when you grow. That's when you evolve. That's when you elevate. And that's when you actually become a leader, because you're realizing there's balance between executing, taking a step back and recalibrating, and making plans to keep going even harder. You have to have balance in all of those, especially as an entrepreneurship, especially as an entrepreneur. You're the boss. You're the CEO. There's nobody telling you what to do and how to do it. Nobody's telling us what to do and how to do it. So with that being said, goal setting is important because it strengthens us. It does. It does. It does. And I know for sure the growing pains are hard. The growing pains are so hard. They're so challenging, and they can sometimes even be stressful. But it's about being durable. It's about strengthening our durability. And goal setting is a way that will strengthen that, because in goal setting, we have troubleshooting. If that goal isn't met, or if the time frame for that goal needs recalibrating, it strengthens our ability to troubleshoot, because it's up to us to figure that out, right? It's up to us to figure it out. It's up to us to execute it. It's up to us to find a solution to the problem. It's our responsibility. That's entrepreneurship, but it's perks. It's perks to it. Who I am today is not who I was a year ago. I will never stop saying that. Never. So with that being said, it's up to us to do the work, because there's growth on the other side. There's abundance on the other side. Our purposes are on the other side. It's just up to us to do the work so that we can get there. Because who we need to be in order to get there, that comes in the process. It comes during the process. So if you're able to assess where you are now and where you want to be, then you'll be able to generate a plan that includes the steps in between. Let me say that again. If you have the ability to assess where you are now and to claim where you're going, then the process in between is the plan that's needed for us to execute in order to accomplish the goals that we're setting. That's simple. So all you need to know is where you're coming from and where you're going. The rest is the process. Here's where you're coming from. Here's where you're going. The in-between is the process. And if you're ever at a place where you're stuck in the in-between, it's because we have to grow and elevate just a little bit more to get us on that other side. That's it. That's it. So, effective goals that last. Effective goals that last. They actually have qualifications, I guess. That's the word we're going to use, qualifications. In order for a goal to qualify as highly effective, it has to be visualized. You got to see it. Like they say, you got to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. You got to be able to see it, visualize it, sit in it. What would that feel like? What would that bring me? How would that change me? Visualize it. Your goal has to be achievable. It has to be achievable. Hear me say, it doesn't have to be easily achievable. It doesn't. If your goal is easily achievable, then maybe we should stretch our goals a little bit. That's my take on that. But our goals should be achievable. They should be written. They should be written. Write it down and make it plain. Honestly, for myself, speaking from experience, any goal that I set for myself, if I didn't write it down, the execution was whack, to say the least. If I didn't write my goals down, my execution was not where it was supposed to be. My commitment and dedication was not where it was supposed to be. So with that being said, our goals must be written. Our goals must be measurable. You have to be able to measure your strides. Of course, like I say, you got to know where you're starting and know where you're going. So in knowing where you're starting and where you're going, you have to be able to measure your progression in between time. You have to be able to measure that. If you can't measure that, then you need to implement. That's where the troubleshooting comes in. That's where our leadership abilities strengthen, because you have to be creative and being able to measure your strides in your goal setting and actually accomplishing those. In your execution, you have to be able to measure it. You have to. That's like losing weight. I want to lose 10 pounds in 15 days. I don't know. 10 pounds in 15 days. How are you able to measure that? You're able to measure that by weighing yourself every other day or however often. I know for sure those time frames and numbers are unrealistic, to say the least, but it's the example that counts, okay? It's the example. So with that being said, we have to be able to measure our goals, measure our strides. If you can't measure it, then truthfully speaking, it's up to us to be creative and figure out how to measure it, because it needs to be measurable. Manageable. You should be able to manage your goals. I'll even add this one. This one isn't in my notes. You should be able to recalibrate your goals. Recalibrate them. Example. I want entrepreneurship. I want to own my own business. You may want entrepreneurship. You may want to own your own business. But like most entrepreneurs, you may start in one industry and end in another. So with that being said, having manageable goals and goals that you can recalibrate as you go and as you grow, that will help you. That will help you. And that's what activates a bomb leader, if you ask me. That's what activates a bomb leader, simply because we're not attached to the business. We're attached to the success. We're not attached to the fame of it or the notoriety of it. No, we're attached to the mission and purpose. So it's up to us to actually be creative in saying, you know what, if this avenue doesn't work, that's just one less avenue I have to try during my process. Mindset. And that's why, like I say, mindset mastery is a huge part of transitioning into entrepreneurship. If entrepreneurship isn't for you, mindset mastery is needed for personal development. If you're a person living, walking, breathing this earth, I'm sure you have something in your world, in your life, that you want to look different than what it looks like now. So, and that mindset mastery will be good for you during your personal development journey. If business doesn't apply to you during your personal development journey, mindset mastery is needed. As a human walking this earth, mindset mastery is needed. If you believe in emotional control and emotional intelligence, you believe in mindset mastery. It's all one and the same to a certain extent. Now, effective goals that last. Effective goals, highly effective goals that often last, they have to be visualized, achievable, written, measured, manageable. What else did I say? You have to be able to recalibrate them. Next, our goals must be realistic. They must be realistic. The weight loss goal, I know for sure. I have a friend who's a trainer. I know good and well she say that's unrealistic. So in that, don't use that example for actually losing weight. Use that example for the example that I said at the time. But our goals have to be realistic. We're adding stress to ourselves in the event that we're setting goals that are unrealistic. And a lot of the times we're setting our goals from a place of, I want this so I can avoid that. Our goals really aren't tied to our ultimate needs. Our goals are tied to external forces that really mean us no good. So with that, our goals must be realistic, but it takes for us to be honest with us in order to set realistic goals. So that's why I say it takes work. This thing is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a huge process. Our goals must be timed. Again, I want to start my own company. I want to start my own company 2 years from now. Our goals must be timed. Set a deadline. That'll activate execution. Set a deadline. It will. It'll weed out distractions. Girl, I don't have time to do that because I'm trying to create my own business within 2 years. I don't have time for that. That's a distraction for me. I can't do that in this season of my life. I speak to that. That's my new saying. In this season of my life, I can't do that. Thank you, but no thank you. I can't do that. It's nothing wrong with saying that. Nothing. In this season of my life, I'm not able to do that right now. Goal setting, they must be timed, and that'll activate the strength that's needed to say, no to the distractions. Our goals, manageable, progress reviewed, same thing. Deadline oriented, the same as measurable, the same as timed. And our goals must be rewarded. This is something I had to take my own advice. I realize in a lot of my topics on live, I pray before I start, I pray when I finish, and at the end of it, I'm like, I need to take my own advice. By the very next day, I'm recalibrating something else simply because I got to practice what I preach. I have to practice what I teach. I have to practice what I speak to. That has to be a part of my discipline journey. So with that being said, our deadlines must be rewarded. Days like yesterday. Yesterday was an amazingly successful day for me in entrepreneurship, even in personal development, because I realized I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to have all the answers, but recalibrating as I go is what keeps me going. It does, because I know I'm not going to have all the answers, but as long as I recalibrate and refocus, recharge, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. The business will be fine. Everybody's whose destinies are connected to my success. It all will be fine. It all will work out. But we have to recalibrate and we have to reward ourselves for being successful and achieving those goals. Those goals, the accomplishing those goals deserve a reward. And there's a lot of times where we go through life and we're like, you know what? I did this, I did that, but I'm going to keep going though. No, take some time, celebrate. You deserve it. Reward yourself. If nobody tells you, I'm going to tell you, reward yourself. What are you holding back on that for? If you don't do it, who else is going to do it for you? Nobody. Nobody. And some of us are blessed. And I know for sure for myself, if there's something I can't do, I have a bomb support system. I have a bomb support system. So with that being said, if I can't produce it for myself, if I can't reward myself, they're going to reward me. However, it starts with me. And because I set that tone, and because I actually do the same for my support system, there's nothing wrong with it. And they'll be quick to do it. Quick. So, tips on goal setting. Tips. And then, like I say, I'm not keeping you guys long tonight. So, one tip that I have really quickly in goal setting, I learned this maybe a year and a half ago. In goal setting, sometimes it's easiest to do two things. Let's say you want to accomplish a goal and you're like, I know the goal I want to accomplish. I don't necessarily know what route to take in order to achieve that goal, in order to make that goal insanely achievable, as I like to say. In cases like that, sometimes we have to start with what's not optional. If I'm trying to figure out the blueprint to something and I'm like, okay, I don't know how to generate it. We know what's optional and what's not. So what's not optional may be the way of starting to initiate the process of the action plan, initiate or generate the actual action plan. So with that being said, if you don't at all know where to start as far as, well, I know this is an option. Well, this isn't an option. Or I don't know if this is an option. Start with what's not optional. It's all about process of elimination. Does that make sense? So if something is optional to you, start with that. If it's not optional to you, start with that, and vice versa. Use the opposite until you're able to find and generate the proper action plan that is measurable, achievable, timely, realistic, and all of the others. Okay. Second tip on goal setting. Reverse engineer. Reverse engineer. Again, this one I learned 1.5 years ago, and it's one of my favorite strategies to apply to goal setting. Reverse engineer. Simply start with, I remember I did like a survey or something asking where I want to be 5 years from now. I'm like, 5 years from now? That's a whole lot. I don't know. Well, I started to actually answer where I want to be 5 years from now. I had to reverse engineer. Well, where I want to be a year from now, then 2 years from now, then 3, and then 5. So with that, reverse engineer. Let's say you want to, prime example. I can't use that example. Let's think. A good example of reverse engineering. Let's say you want to write a book. In writing your book, of course, you have the actual outline writing phase, but you also have the legals to get in order as well. So if you don't at all know how to write a book from start to finish, you have 2 options. Start with the writing, start with the legals, start with one and get to the other, pretty much. Reverse engineer. Excuse me. The 5-year goal. I don't remember because it was 1.5 years ago. So I don't know if they were asking me about the 5-year goals first and I started with the 1-year goal, or they asked me about the 1-year goal and started and I skipped ahead to 5 years. That's what happened. They asked me about the 1, 3, and 5-year goals. I had to start with the 5-year goal and then reverse engineer to figure out what I needed to do between now and then to get me where I need to be in 5 years. Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, DM me. If it doesn't make sense, comment below. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. I'll elaborate. I can't elaborate until I know you need me to, but literally, reverse engineering. They wanted me to figure out what my 5-year goals were and what my 1-year goals were. However, I knew my 5-year goals. But it was up to me to do the work to figure out if I want to be here in 5 years, what do I need to do in between then and now in order to get me there? If I want to be in real estate in 5 years, I got some work to do between now and then. So with that being said, that's just reverse engineering. That's a quick little tip I want to give y'all because it definitely helped me in my process of life in general, personal development, mindset mastery, and entrepreneurship. It helped me in all three. So reverse engineering is a great tool to help you, whether it's personally or professionally. And last tips, and then this is it. Like I said, tonight's an easy night, y'all. Daily goals lead to achieving weekly goals. Weekly goals lead to achieving monthly goals, and so forth and so on. Monthly goals lead to quarterly lead to yearly lead to lifetime goals. So with that being said, reverse engineering would be a great tip. Hi, cousin. Reverse engineering would be a great tip to help us in achieving the lifetime goals. Start with the weekly goals. Start with the daily goals. That's a prime example of reverse engineering. No problem at all. I'm happy it helped you. I'm so happy it helped you. So, reverse engineering is a thing, and it's what helped me. Obviously, my cousin as well. It definitely helps. And sometimes that's why conversations like these are needed. That's why. Because one person knows something and they get a little high and mighty in themselves. They get to smelling themselves. They get stingy. They don't want to share the information. And knowledge is power. I don't want all the power because I don't want to have to use it all. So I'm going to share this thing. I don't want that work. I don't want that work. So with that being said, now God put this in front. Oh my gosh, girl, I'm not crying tonight. I'm not crying tonight. Thank you so much. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Literally, I'm excited. That's all I can say. I'm excited and I'm happy that it helped you. But reverse engineering is a process. I used it in corporate America. A lot of people use it personally in their businesses, in their courses that they teach. Reverse engineering. Yes, yes, yes. And if you ever feel stuck again, DM me. Literally, this is where I am. I'm at a place where I do this daily. I help people get unstuck. Feels like reassurance. That's so crazy. I call myself virtual support. Literally, nowadays I call myself virtual support because these are issues I was having a year from now. A year ago, I wanted entrepreneurship so badly, but I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the courage. Just so happened I ended up becoming a life coach, but I still didn't have the courage. I still didn't. I invested in the course, but I didn't have the courage. But I noticed I didn't have the courage because I didn't have reassurance. So that's why I show up every day and have conversations like these, because I want to provide the reassurance that can activate the strength that's needed to take the leap, that can activate the strength that's needed to try different or to set your goals and achieve your goals. So I'm so happy. And look at you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. I try. I have my good days and my bad days, but I love it. Truthfully, I'm so much happier than I was in corporate America. So thank you, cousin. Um, Literally, reverse engineering. That's a thing that helped me. It's a tool, it's a strategy that helped me so much in my life in general. On this board behind me, Facebook, you don't have the angle. I'll help you out a little bit. Okay, that board right there behind me, when I walk in my office every morning, I look at that board simply because it has my 1 year goals on there. So days where I don't feel like executing, days where I don't feel like working, I got these courses. I have clients that I'm providing information and resources to. I don't feel like it. Like, truthfully, I don't feel like working today. However, when I look at those goals, they're not going to achieve themselves. So in that goal setting and having strategy in it is what will help you, especially times when we feel stuck. And I know for sure up until yesterday, I felt stuck for about a week. I kept going in that week, but I felt so stuck and I had to take a step back and actually reapply the information that I share, reapply the information that I expose to others, simply because I got so caught up into working that I wasn't planning and executing according to what I teach. So in that, I had to recalibrate, and I'm a professional at being stuck and getting unstuck almost. Getting unstuck, I still need prayer, work, and discipline, but it's a blessing. Just have to realize the work's never done. Literally, our work is level of work. So that's why it's important to guys and recalibrate, have balance, have discipline. But in all of that, as long as we prioritize our goals, prioritizing our goals and actually setting our goals and writing our goals will help us. Restarting in the midst may get you further. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Restarting in the mix. I have no words for it because it got me so much further. It got me happier. And I was at a place where I wanted entrepreneurship and I knew the happiness, the joy, and the glow that comes with it. But I wasn't experiencing that because I didn't have discipline. I didn't write my goals and make them plain. I didn't, as they say, write the list and check it twice. I didn't do that. I did it initially, but after a month of operations, those goals from a month ago have nothing to do with today. And we have set your goals by the month. Set your goals by the month and break them down to weekly goals and daily goals. That's what will activate and cultivate so much success. So much success. Literally. Yes. Restarting in the mix. Last tip. People who fail to reach their goals don't really plan to fail. They don't plan. Nobody plans to fail. Nobody plans to say, you know what, today I'm going to wake up and go to work and be whack. Nobody plans to do that. That's not a thing, especially not nowadays. However, sometimes we can fail to plan, and this is speaking solely from experience. Anything I ever say is mostly speaking from experience. So with that being said, failing to plan is what they mean when they say you're your biggest hindrance. You're the one that's stopping you from achieving your goals. You're the one that's stopping you from getting to the other side of abundance. Yes, out of 9 no's, there's one yes, and that one yes can be life-changing. That one yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. That one yes. I forgot. I just posted something today. Let me go see if I can find it. I'm going to read it to you real quick. It's not long at all. It's not long, but it definitely it was like a wake-up call, kind of. It was like a wake-up call because it reminds us hey, what are you doing? Activate what they call it, activate beast mode or whatever they call it, and literally go hard because we deserve it. And this again is me preaching to the choir. Are we waiting on our destinies, or are our destinies waiting on us? I'm just saying. And like you say, that's what goes to show. God put certain things in front of us on purpose. He has certain people to say certain things specifically to us. And it feels like, oh, she's talking to me. She did this solely for me. Literally. And in the past year of my life, I went through so much to where I'm talking to mentors or doing things to get my mind together. And literally, folks are saying stuff to me, and it's like, you know my business or something. You stalking me or something. Like, how you know this much? But that's what goes to show it's divine, and it's meant for us to hear it. And that's why I do this, because I realize I cannot be the only one going through this. I cannot. I refuse to believe it. I don't care what anybody has to say. I can't be the only one going through these things. I can't be the only one with problems. And that's why I feel like we have to talk about it, because too many people are walking around with the same problems. They just don't have the courage to talk about it. They don't have the courage to seek help, ask for advice, or any of that. And not even that you asked. It's just the fact that you're like, let me see. And it happened to speak to you. So truthfully, if it was more of us being honest, having conversations, doing this, we all would be at a better place, especially our race and our community. So that's just where I am. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy that this, oh my gosh, yes. I'm so happy that it speaks to you. I am. I get so caught up in like creating content because I teach entrepreneurship just because I did that the past 3 years of my life just with somebody else's business. Like they pretty much said, hey, here's a business, you run it. So because I did that and I have the knowledge, I'm like, since COVID, it's a lot of Black entrepreneurs. Let me go help them. Let me go help us because nobody pours into us the way that we pour into us. So that's where all of this even started. But literally, to know that it's helpful, to know that it's beneficial, it's like, it makes me feel so rewarded. That is the reward for me. So I'm so happy that it helps you. I'm so happy that it helps you. Yeah. Are we waiting on our destiny or is our destiny waiting on us? And I know for sure my destiny is waiting on me. It's like, girl, you got to let that bed go in the morning. And that's still a struggle. That's still a struggle. Letting my bed go, like I said last year at the beginning of at the beginning of this live, I said something along the lines of a successful or a good goal consists of sacrifice. You got to sacrifice for your goals. Last year, I didn't want to sacrifice my TV time. That was dead. I'm not doing that. Listen. Just last night, I did a live on discipline versus distraction. And I know for sure the distraction is real. The moment you set a goal for yourself, the distraction is automatically set out to make sure that goal is not achievable. The distraction is like, you know what? You set this goal. Let's see. Like, it is hard. It is hard. The best advice I could give in that is owning the fact that in this season of your life right now, you don't have time for distractions. And that's my truth. I have a lot of friends, a lot of family who's like, girl, let's just tonight. My aunties, my mama, my sister, all of them was just here at my house about 6 o'clock? They all left and went to Chili's, and I couldn't because I go live at 7:30 every night. So because of that, it is hard. It is hard. But you know for yourself, entrepreneurship isn't a hot commodity around these parts, cousin. So with that being said, it is gonna be hard. But the level of abundance that's on the other side for us who have the strength to try entrepreneurship is worth it. It's so worth it. So with that being said, yes, it's hard, but own the fact that right now in this season of your life, you don't have time for distractions. And if they get upset about it, I'll tell you my answer off this live. I'll tell you my answer when we get off this live because no ma'am, they could go cry in the car because we don't care. We do not care. And at the end of the day, it's up to the distractions are going to come. It's up to us to say no. The distractions are going to come, but it's up to us to say no. So in that, yes, it's hard. It's a daily battle. And in entrepreneurship, it won't go away. It won't. It's going to be a lifelong battle, So the sooner we're comfortable with saying, no, I can't, not in this season of my life, the sooner it'll be effective and it'll diminish. It won't go away, but it'll diminish. It'll calm down and it'll eventually weed itself out. But it takes us activating it. And a lot of times it can come from the folks who are directly around us, up under us, in our core circle, all that. All of that. So it's okay. It is. You are not alone in that. I struggle with that so hard that's why it was last night's topic. Simply because, like I say, I plan my content for at least weeks out. But sometimes I have to take a step away from that content and say, you know what? Let me be human for a minute. Let me show them entrepreneurship is not just the glory days. It's mess that comes with it. And it's hard when you're trying to be successful and trying to do something different and trying to go against the grain, but the distractions don't qualify that, so to speak. The distractions don't qualify us wanting different. The distractions don't qualify us saying, you know what, I'm taking a step back because I got some goals I want to achieve. The distractions don't do that. And that's why effectively and strategically goal setting will help us in our process. It will help us with the distractions. So, woo! Woo! I'm so sorry to Instagram and to YouTube because you saw me interacting a little more personal with my cousin. But I vow to serve. I vow to serve. I vow to serve. And I look forward to the folks who watch this on the replay on YouTube, the folks who watch this on the replay on Instagram, and even Facebook. When you watch this on the replay, hopefully it activates the want for the new knowledge, because I go live at 7:30 every single night. I go live at 7:30 every night. And in that, as you see, I will stop the press and pour into somebody, because that's how dedicated I am to my process. That's how dedicated I am to my mission. That's how dedicated I am to my purpose. So with that being said, YouTube, Instagram, I ultimately apologize for getting a little bit personal over here on Facebook, but I had to, simply because that's where the audience was. So I love everybody so much, so much. But as you see, pouring into folks and actually being relatable and being a virtual support and letting people know that we are not alone, being the reassurance that's needed in society for the regular folks, for us normal folks. You may see me as an entrepreneur, but I'm as normal as they get. A lot of my family like to call me an old lady because sometimes I could be a little too normal, but it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. So with that being said, I love you guys all so much. My name is Cornisha. I'm a purpose and personal development coach. I vow to serve. I'm excited to be here. I'm grateful to be here. And like I always say, it's a us thing. I do it for you. I do it for me. I do it for us. Do it for us all 2021 and 2022 and 2023. Okay. I plan to do it for us because at the end of the day, it takes us pouring into us. It takes us providing resources for us. It takes us sacrificing for us. Truthfully. So I vow to be a demonstration, and that's me. That's me. That's me. So with that being said, it is 8:22. I love you guys so much. I am getting out of here. And like I say, I do it for you. I do it for me. I do it for us. It's a us thing. So until next time, I will see you guys tomorrow at 7:30. Tomorrow. Quick commercial break. Okay. Quick commercial break. Tomorrow is Free Coaching Friday on Instagram and Facebook. YouTube, I got you. You will be on here too. I have to share the knowledge. I have to be obedient, and YouTube is a part of my journey. So with that being said, YouTube, I got you. Tomorrow's Free Coaching Friday. If you have me on Instagram, my IG is Cornisha _Cornisha J. Facebook is Cornisha Jones. And with that being said, DM me on either Instagram or Facebook with your personal development or business questions, and I'll be sure to answer them in tomorrow's Free Coaching Friday. So with that being said, I love you guys oh so much. And until tomorrow, I will see you guys later. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, Facebook. I'm out. Peace, peace, peace. IG, I love you guys, but my phone's dying and I gotta make sure this is saved. So I love you. Good night. Peace. And video. Share the video. YouTube. Like I say, I'm about to say you the first to come and the last to go, okay? So, what's the title of this video? Goal setting. Goal setting. Alrighty, YouTube, I'm gonna end this live really, really soon. And professionally. Okay, YouTube, I love you guys so much. I vow to serve. I'm excited that I'm excited that I was able to generate a system that works for me, being able to show up here consistently, being able to show up here every single day with new content, new knowledge. And I have plans, big plans for this channel, simply because there's growth in conversations. There's growth and there is abundance on the other side of it, simply because we all can learn and develop personally together. So with that being said, I love you guys so much. Good night. Have a good night, and until tomorrow at 7:30 Central, I will see y'all later. Good night. Yes. Save it.